I think before coming, I watched the one with Jae5.
Oh, okay.
And
good.
Really impressed. He's probably one of my favorite producers and also rappers from Ghana, actually.
So once you're ready to get back to music, then yes.
Yeah, I'm going to Jae5.
We'll make that happen.
Yeah.
All right. So I go by the name of Teddy Abrokwa, as you already know. This is the Soundboy Session. Every Thursday, we bring you a new episode. We make sure we get guests who are involved with the world of entertainment and who also have a connection to the motherland, Africa. So wherever you're from, we try to find where they are from in Africa. Their real names, not the ones that they use on on Instagram, IG handles. But we tend to find their actual names, what day they were born, what food that they can cook for themselves. You've got to be able to feed yourself first and foremost. But today episode is very important subject area that I'll be covering, and rightly so. The world of entertainment, we all need some level of checks and balances. We need people who will be able to steer the way for us, so as we don't get to a point and then realize, oh, I made a mistake, I need to get back to the drawing board. It probably will be a very costly mistake. So for the first time, I'm having someone with authority in this subject area. I normally talk about how I want the best for artists. That's or those in entertainment, whether you're actor, athlete, or an activist. So we cover all the A's. We just want to make sure that you are covered in terms of what the law is like for you, what your protection is under the law, and also your intellectual property, how best you can maximize it. So my guest today, for the first time, as I mentioned, we're going to have someone with authority in the law and entertainment and anything beyond that as well. He will tell us exactly what he does. But this is the first time that I'm having someone in your capacity. It's Kelvin.
Yes.
Do you get offended when somebody say Kelvin, or is it Kelvin? Kelvin?
No, it's actually Kelvin.
Kelvin.
I'm so used to people calling me Kelvin that I answer to it too.
Yes. So Kelvin is a lawyer, entertainment lawyer, and I'm sure there are other areas that he will be best to explain for us. And welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you very much, Teddy.
Good to see you, though.
Again, it's been a while.
I know, right? It's over 10 years, I would say.
Yes.
Over 10 years.
Yes, I'd say so too.
And in that space of time, you've gone to get yourself a nice LLM, or is it?
So I did both the LLB, the LLM, and then did law school. And here now.
Yeah, but congratulations
Thank
also
you very much.
For your engagement.
Thank you so much, man.
I love that progression, man. It's good to see you, though.
That's my greatest achievement yet.
Oh, wait, there are more to come. Once the triplets drop.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Oh, you're not ready for that, triplets?
Maybe not now yet, but soon.
Enjoy the space for now. Don't worry.
Thanks.
Because that's another life-changing experience.
I believe you're in a better position to advise me on that.
It's changed my life. It's changed my life. I wasn't. I was wild, but not wild.
Okay.
So it kind of gives you another perspective in life. Once you see your little ones, strutting around the house, by the time you realize, they're almost your height. So you always have to enjoy every space of it. But it's a beautiful experience, and I'm really hoping that you get to. Not COVID, man. It's done a lot of damage already, but I'm sure once everything is planned, you can have your celebration with all your friends and family. Because I know you've got quite a big entourage too. From your days of being an artist yourself. Yeah. But congrats, on two fronts.
Thank you.
Your qualification. But how many years did it take you?
Well, obviously with me, I was studying while doing music at the same time. So it's taking me a lot longer to get to here than it would have taken someone that went on the direct path, While I was obviously, I'll give you a quick synopsis before we get into this. While obviously I was in college, that's when I was an artist.
That was when I met you too.
Yeah, that's when we met. And after that, I went to do my LLB and also stopped a while to follow music. And then I went to do my master's, which is the LLM. And then stopped a while, went to Ghana to teach at the University at KNUST and also King's University in Accra.
What year were you teaching in Ghana?
I was teaching second level 200.
Level 200? What time frame is that?
This was in 2016 to 2018.
You've done a lot, you know.
yeah. 2016 to 2018, I was teaching international commercial law, insurance law, and those were the two main things that I was teaching there. But then I'll help out with contract law when and where I could. So
it's not just music. You know, you've got that expansion too.
As a kid growing up, so my journey actually starts from Ghana, then it goes to Belgium, then it came here, then I went back to Ghana again to teach. I was always trying to find where I fitted in and what career path I had to take, although I knew it involve law and maybe music. I didn't know it was going to be the two combined, music law. And since I've come into music law, there's not been a day that I felt like I was working. You know, it's literally a hobby, and I'm being paid for it. Sometimes I actually feel bad that I'm being paid to do what I love, because this is something, my work is something I would have done for free anytime. And anytime I speak to people, I make that very clear to them that this is something I'm very passionate about, you know.
I know, right? You know, just, you know, yeah. Because I know how you started with the music, and you guys did a lot of our groundwork. Just to put in perspective, he was part of the Vibe Squad.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about the role Vibe Squad played in this Afrobeats movement in the UK. They did a lot of the groundwork with the likes of Silva, you know, Scope and Gizmo. You know, you guys did
Quams and
Flavor. You know, you did a lot of the hard work that people are benefited of now, and to see how things have progressed for you. I haven't seen you since. Yeah, and you reminded me that I played your music first.
Yeah, you were the first. bless you. I remember us coming thinking, it's because obviously you've been big in our community for a long time. I didn't realize you're a very humble and modest person, but you've always been someone that we've looked up to, especially within our community here in London. So when we had the chance to obviously send our music to you, and when you actually took the time to play it, yes, it definitely made us happy.
I love the whole movement.
You know.
Anytime I've seen Wizzy, you know, he always reminds me, you know, he was the one who was very active.
Yeah,
you know,
He's
always happy, you know. He hasn't lost that at all. And you haven't lost the smile too.
Thanks for that. Hopefully I never do.
A lot has changed then, you know. We've all grown full beards, and we've lost the hair too.
We've lost the hair too, you know what I mean?
Listen, we used to have hair, you know. I don't know that. That's one of the things that, you know, it comes with age. But looking at what you've done with the music, you know, at that time as an up-and-coming artist, you know, how much of it drove you to get into the music side of law? Of law, yeah.
To be honest, every aspect of it. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, we were all, the whole of Vibe Squad, we were all in uni while we were doing Vibe Squad. It started in college, but we moved to uni while we were doing Vibe Squad, and there were so many things that we didn't understand, and it's crazy because I still meet a lot of people that I started with then who still do not understand it now. You know,
that is the music business.
That's the music business side of it. First of all, we didn't understand the industry. Talk less of the law that governs the industry. You know, and rightly so, we just wanted to do music. We just wanted to have fun. We weren't in it at the time, but anyway, for the money. We were in it because we enjoyed Afrobeats, and at the time, although it wasn't accepted as widely as it is now, we loved to go to places where Afrobeats were being played, and we wanted to push the culture. You know, it's not something that we actually sat there and decided to do. It's just something that we fell into, and we enjoyed doing it. But But it came to a point where, obviously, as the industry was growing big at the time, before it was growing bigger, we expected some sort of remuneration from it, and we didn't know how to go about it. This, by the way, is at the time when you couldn't just put your songs on iTunes or Spotify and people will stream and play and you get the money back. This was a time when CDs were still in, but more than that, the main revenue for most artists in the area of music that we were doing was through performances. And obviously we knew we had to perform to get some money. We knew how to negotiate a performance fee, and that is the extent to which our knowledge of music went. That was pretty much it. We uploaded our music onto free download sites and hoped people will download them onto YouTube. We shoot our own videos and hope people stream them. YouTube monetization, I believe, was beginning to come in, but it wasn't really big.
It wasn't big. I think it's the same with what we're experiencing now with the streaming.
Yeah, exactly. Now things are booming. So I believe there was one, I think it was Fuse ODG, who mentioned to me first about publishing. And it was such an alien word to me then, even though I considered myself a very smart person even then. I started looking into it, and that opened the Pandora box, to a lot of stuff in the music industry. And I started reading more and more and more on it. And by the way, I was studying law at the same time. And I became kind of the oracle to it within my circle. So at the time we were at a studio in Stratford, which you know very well, Jae5, run by Kelvin Nana Amoako, Blemish, and
shouts to Blemish though.
Shout out to him, Godfather. He's done a lot in this industry, and I'd be the go-to person for the artists that will come there in case they had some questions to ask. With my limited knowledge of of how the record labels worked, how publishing worked, how neighboring rights worked, I'd be able to give some sort of advice. I'd also look over their contract with obviously my limited understanding of contract law. I'd be able to help them, and through that I became the go-to person for the likes of, I mean at JOT at the time, as I mentioned, that was the hub. We had the likes of Jae5 coming through, Jae5, Bassman, Notes, and a lot of the Afrobeat scene.
What was that? That's not Vibe Squad. There was another group of guys. I think one of them is going on to do. He did the back chat. Was that?
Worry ENT.
Yeah, Worry ENT. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. You're right. That was around the same time.
Yeah,
man. Oh man, I miss those days. We did some good music together then.
But just to even before you go, sorry to cut you there, but that was like a moment in the entertainment industry in the UK. I think that changed a lot of things for a lot of artists too. Anytime I go to JOT, I know that I've got my playlist, almost half of them, because you walk away with a lot of music, and imagine if all these guys are back together for a concert for East London one day, that would be incredible.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. So that was our little hub in London. I'm sure in other parts of London, other things were brewing up as well, because I know from the south we had Quamps and Flavor, although they used to come down to JOT quite largely, but there were people doing things. NSG,
yeah, exactly.
From there too.
NSG,
yeah.
So you had your clientele,
It's crazy how it all panned out. I think everyone I needed to grow as obviously in the music law industry, I met back in the day, or I met someone that would lead me to them back in the day. So having been the go-to person, and obviously after finishing my master's, going to teach in Ghana, one of the acts, who is Jae5, shout out to Jae5, amazing guy. He reached out to me in Ghana.
Jonathan.
Yeah, he reached out to me and said, Kelvin, whatever you're doing in Ghana, bro, stop it and move back to London, because there's a big opportunity for you when you come here. I'm paying lawyers this amount of money, and they don't do half of the things you were doing for me when you were here. I think you'd make a great music lawyer.
Bless him.
Bless him. And I was thinking, should I take this or not? I think I've got something going on here in Ghana. I'm building my house. I'm working in reputable universities, and I think I'm willing to stay here if unless obviously I'll only leave unless if I'm actually guaranteed that what you're talking about makes sense. And he said, I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'm willing to pay for you to move over here.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And when he said that, I decided to take him up on that. And I came, obviously had to do law school at Liverpool, and then obviously had to transition then to come into music law, and I got a place thanks to Jae5 as well, and the head of Black Butter label, Joe Gossa. Thanks to those two, I got a job at Van Straten Solicitors.
A reputable entertainment law firm too.
One thing people don't know is that the legal industry, especially when it comes to music, is tight-knit. They don't just let anyone in. It's very hard to get into. You have to know people. You have to start strong, so to speak, in terms of no one is taking you on unless there is some sort of direct benefit that they can gain from you when you start. You know what I mean? So you have to hit the ground running, so to speak. So it's very difficult. And in private practice, I think I can only mention about 3 black lawyers. In private practice in general, I don't think there are more than 30 or 40 lawyers. And this
Incredible.
is for an industry that's about 11 billion.
And majority blacks too.
Yeah, exactly. The musicians, and the artists are, but I don't think that's fairly represented. As not definitely not in the legal side, and also not at the top senior levels in music.
Yeah.
I think with the BLM movement that just happened, that they're looking to change that, but I don't know how much of that is just lip service. And this whole COVID period has opened up a lot of it has
a lot of kind of worms or whatever it is. The best expression is my background is HR.
Okay.
Yeah, so I branched into medical staffing workforce. And if you look at HR, there was a recent report in the one of the HR mouthpiece, and it's incredible that we're supposed to be big on equality, but that is where discrimination and is even at the peak of it. So shouts to one of my good friends, Mercy. She was actually featured in the article, and she's detailing some of her experiences, and it's just mind blowing that those who are supposed to be the gatekeepers are rather the ones pushing it under the carpet, and like you said, representation is very key.
It's key,
particularly where the players themselves happen to be from that ethnicity, and you want some equitable representation. People that understand the culture, people that grew out of the culture, and you happen to be a typical example of that product. You are an artist. You started as an artist, so you understand the struggle of being an underground artist. You are someone who's from the community. You understand how people have progressed, or where people's music careers have taken. How it's shaped up. But one thing I've got to say that I need to recommend you as well, and also to anybody who's listening, that whatever you do in life, no matter the how little you think the contribution is, it's always leading up to something bigger that you might not even realize.
Oh yes.
Because the work that you've done in the past, doing it even for free.
For free, mainly.
Now you're it's giving you your clientele.
Yeah. Yes.
So there is nothing that you say, I work for free. Nobody works for free.
Yes.
You might not be paid today.
Yeah.
But down the line, it's going to happen. Imagine if when you gave me your music, if I was
Yeah, exactly. You know,
and I never played it.
Yeah.
You know, would I have this feedback that you've given me today?
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Would you even have been on my show to give this knowledge? We're going to get into the business side of things shortly, but it's good that we appreciate where we've come from. And you're not the only person. I happened to meet Yuji the other time, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that play their music I've never even met, you know. So many of them. Anybody that sends me music, I listen to it at least, you know, give them a year and give feedback if it is. And I met Yuji, he was telling me how it was such a big thing at their house, you know, when I played the music on Hot FM, you know, shouts to the Hot FM family. That when the music came on, you know, he was listening with the family, mom and dad and everyone, the happiness, the joy, you know, and when he was telling me, I got a bit of a, you know, like,
that's great.
Because you think we're just doing something little, but to the person that is benefiting, it's incredible. That's why, you know, you've got to give people a fair shot, you know, just give them the chance. You know? But you've gone on to work on yourself, and as you rightly said, it's been hard work and has been difficult, you know. Let's talk about you for a second. You know, you're Ghanaian. What's your Ghanaian name?
Nana Amoako.
Nana Amoako.
Yeah,
that's a chief. So Nana Amoako from which part?
So my mom is Fanti and my dad is Ashanti.
Oh, so you've got a sweet taste of Fanti. You know, they cook. You know, Fantis they cook.
I'm glad you said
that. The missus is here. I'm gonna ask her. So you can't lie about that.
Yeah.
Are you a good cook?
I like to think I am.
Stuttering there, you know. He's got to give me the truth now.
I like to think I am, but you know, when you're in the presence of greatness, it's hard to then say that you are. No,
if you outcook your missus, then that's a problem.
Exactly. So by her standards, maybe perhaps I'm not such a great cook, but by ordinary human standards.
So what's your best?
I think I make a mean fried rice. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Fried rice. Okay. Oh, that's true. Okay, check. Mean fried rice, check. All right. I think my specialty is light soup though.
Light soup.
I whip a mean one.
Eesh.
Anytime you see Kilbeat. Yeah. Anytime you see Kilbeat, just ask him about my soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Is it that good?
Oh my God. I had this magic. I call it a magic mona. You ever heard of momoni?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, you put a little bit. You don't have to put too much. Just a little bit, and it changes the flavor of the house. You know.
That I don't doubt.
But the taste, boy. No, he said it himself. I didn't force it.
Oh, really? That's insane. Because I thought momoni was mainly used in stews. Not soup.
Yeah, that's the magic mona. Try it.
Magic mona. Good. Thanks for that tip. Maybe I'll give it a try.
So Fanti and Ashanti, that's a nice balance there. I mean, you know, you are used to. That's why you enjoy traveling. But that's a bit of a distance, you know, from Ashanti region to
I don't think I've ever done. I don't think I've ever traveled from, let's say, Cape. My mom is from Cape Coast. I've never traveled from Cape Coast directly to Kumasi, or from Kumasi directly to Cape Coast.
It's a bit of a journey.
It's mainly from Accra to Kumasi or Accra to Cape Coast, then back to Accra.
Maybe next time you should try that.
Maybe I should try that. I should try that. I wonder what the roads look like actually.
No, it's good though.
It good?
Yeah, it's good to an extent. I mean, that you always have the patches somewhere, but it's a good road.
Okay.
So your upbringing was mainly you were born here?
No, I wasn't born here. I was actually born in Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah. And then moved to Belgium, where I would say that's where I grew up, and then moved here when I was 17. Yeah.
So you speak French?
No, I was obviously raised in the Dutch side, the Flemish side, so I speak Flemish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, so you've got another career pathway there too. You know, you can.
Well, I hope the music industry blows over there, because it's just like Ghana is also bubbling, but it's not there yet. You know, but if it does, I think I'll probably be one of the pioneers there.
Start Google searching and see who are the artists that are there. You know.
Yeah.
But that's a rich upbringing. You've experienced different sort of cultures. So how much of it comes into your work now? You know, with
a lot of
experience.
I think it's mainly it really. You know, everywhere I go, I feel of this. People think there's some element of exoticness to me. So I'm never the Belgian in Belgium, because then people kind of assume I'm more London than I am Belgian. And when I come to London, then people think I am more Belgian than I am a Londoner. And when I'm in Ghana, people assume I am more Londoner than I am Ghanaian. You know what I mean? And obviously bringing in all those experiences tends to give me a different perspective, you know. And being a Ghanaian, I don't know where I get. If I may say so myself, I come across very humble and very modest. And
no, you are.
And I think that's probably my Ghanaian side. So out of all of them, I think it's the Ghana-ness that stands out the most.
I mean, yeah, that's the national colours, you know. but it's always been a proud moment, you know, being Ghanaian. Ghana independence Day, you know, Stratford Rex.
Oh my God! Yeah, those were the days.
You see Weezy, and you know, and you had such a beautiful collective, though. You know yourself. You've one of your colleagues wanted to do pharmacy.
Oh, very big.
What was the conversation like with you guys? You know, outside of music.
Okay, so see, Vibe Squad was never meant to be a career group, if that makes sense. We always knew we had other things that we wanted to do, and we were just having fun doing Vibe Squad. First of all, mainly because we come from Ghanaian families, and as you know, music is never anything any parent says to their child, I want you to take on as a career. You know, it's always something that they'd support if you're doing it as a hobby, but then you always need the plan A, you know, to be education or something along those lines. That is beginning to change, because obviously that's a very wrong mentality to have, and you yourself and most people in the music industry, including myself now, know that music is probably one of the most lucrative areas you can be in.
Stormzy has shown us.
yeah, you know,
Guardian mothers are like, oh, you know, I'm sure people have shown their moms videos of Stormzy's mom doing the dance watching him how he's progressed within the last 5 years or so.
Yeah,
they're not going to say no. It's like football now, you know. They're not going to say no to football.
I'm telling you, being working in music law, I see a kid going from overdraft to being a millionaire overnight. And I mean, I see it probably every 2 weeks, you know, signing a big check, signing a big deal, getting a big check, and then they're a millionaire. I'm
going to be ringing you more these days. We need to talk more often.
And these are 16, 17, 18 to 23-year-olds, you know what I mean? And it's just that the tide has changed and things are happening in the industry now, and most people, especially people that have done music for a long time, always feel in some way they feel I need to choose my words carefully here. They feel like they've missed out on something, because obviously they have set kind of the foundation for these kids to benefit from. But that's music. I remember mentioning the people of NFL, Eddie Blay from NFL. I think they kind of set the foundations for Ghana music. However, others came to profit from it more than they did.
Oh, exactly, 100%.
That's because at the time it's always harder for the people that's the pioneers, because they are setting the taste for it, and that taste can only grow over time. You know, and it's only when it's a big market that a lot of people are buying into that those doing it then can benefit from it. So I think the only satisfaction you get from being a pioneer, and that should be enough, is that I paved the way for others to make ends meet. And for someone like me, I'm more than happy with that. But I understand that for certain people, they're thinking they've been dealt the wrong hand, or you know, it's hard luck.
Just you know, you happen to find yourself back into it. You had a backup plan. Yeah, not a backup plan. You had a main plan, because the music was
the music was always a hobby.
But before we even move on, you've raised a very interesting point. I want to expand a bit. But was that the reason why the group collapsed? Because you know you had your eyes on something else.
Yeah, I think the group.
Because I'm sure you broke a lot of hearts, you know that.
Yeah, the group was always going to collapse because after uni, everyone was going to go their own way. Well, their own separate paths. Because obviously, I did law. Derek did pharmacy. Yeah. Business. Weezy did business. We all knew that after uni, Charlie, we have to spot each other and say, you know what, good luck.
So it wasn't on bad terms.
So it was not on bad terms, and that's why we're all still friends. We didn't break up because, but to be honest, to take you back, we had two breakups. Actually.
You too, yeah, I know.
Yeah, there was a time Derek left for personal reasons, but then he came back after a year and a half. If I'm sure, and then we actually
because the friendship was stronger. Yeah. But I've got to shout out DJ Abrokwa here too.
Big up. Yeah.
Was he your manager or something? Or what was his role?
No,
then?
DJ Abrokwa wasn't our manager, but we were managed by a company called ABM Entertainment.
Okay.
Yeah, which also managed DJ.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know, I always thought that company was this. You know,
I'm not too sure who that company
because of the
to.
Initials. I thought it was Abrokwa Network or something. You know,
no, I think it's Afro.
I'm making it all up here.
Yeah, I think it's Afrobeats Movement. That's the name. That's the abbreviation of.
But shouts to him though.
No, yeah, he did a lot.
He's recovering very.
He did a lot for the industry, and I wish him a speedy recovery. I saw him Ghana last year. He looked rather well, so hopefully things are going as well as he looked in Ghana.
Oh man, bless him though, bless him. So you in your earlier points, you made a very significant point about how some people have to sacrifice,
for others too. Yeah.
But what I want to ask is, why has it always got to be the from our culture that we have these experiences? What is the reason? Because if you look at the pop culture, the Beatles have for a long time they had everything right. Why is it that with our culture, even though we've been doing music for a very long time, we always seem to be getting the wrong end of things? Yeah,
but to be honest, on this very point, I don't think our culture is very relevant to it, because this very point I'm trying to make is when you are bringing a new type of music onto a market. So I'll make an example. When EDM or dubstep started, the pioneers, the people that started it, didn't actually make any money off it. It's after it had become big, after they had created the taste and it had become a very big genre, the people that then came on to do it started making money off it. But I get your point. In our culture as well, this is relevant in terms of we've never had, well, I'll make it very specific to the Ghanaian industry. We've never had a structure to it. You know what I mean? I mean, there are laws in place, just like there are here. But when it comes to enforcing them, that becomes a whole different process. So the CDPA, the Copyright Designs and Patents Act, is pretty much the same as the one in Ghana. You would think it was taken from one book and copied and pasted.
Yeah, because of the colonial.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because of our colonial links, and also obviously we also follow the common law system. So it's very similar. However, enforcement of it is quite different. So I don't know if you're ready to go into the technical aspects of it.
Let's go.
So let's take the point of, let's say, royalty collection, for example. We do not have collection societies yet in Ghana. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not too sure if they have it in Nigeria either. But this is something that is definitely needed to enforce that agreement in the Copyright Rights Act. That all writers of music will be paid a certain amount in mechanical royalties. And also,
what's mechanical royalties?
So mechanical royalties is a percentage of actual royalties that goes towards the people that wrote a song.
Okay.
So the writers rather than the singer of the song, or the money that's actually made from the master. So mainly in over here, 12.5% of any sales or stream of a song goes to the writers of the song. So that will be the producer and
any collaborators.
Any collaborators on the song that actually wrote the song, rather than just the person that sang the song, you know. And remember, that's also separate from publishing, which goes 100% to the writers of the song. But before we go into publishing, let's keep it simple at mechanical royalties, for example. How do you even collect royalties? I know there's a blanket system in Ghana where the Ghana Music Union, what was that? Musica. They collect and then distribute. But there is a system where they distribute to some of the major artists and leave the smaller ones out. And you'd have to be a member of the society to benefit. And you need some sort of influence in that organization in order to get paid. This is where we go wrong. You know, we need an independent third-party body that can actually collect. And when I say collecting the monies, I mean the monies they have to be paid by the radio stations, the TV stations, by bars and restaurants, nightclubs that pay it. But enforcement of it, again, these are the same people that will lobby against you, asking them to pay rightfully to the people that have sung this music and the people that have written this music. It's not in their best interest to enforce this law, although it is in the best interest of the industry for this law to be enforced. Where do you go from there when you have some of the highest and strongest people in the industry fighting you?
Nowhere. Because the referees are at the same time the players. You know?
Yeah, you know what I mean. They're the referees, and exactly. They're the people that are meant to, obviously, because of by virtue of the power they hold, to grow and also make policies that will further the industry. But they're the same people that benefit from the industry not being furthered. You know, so it becomes a tough job for anyone, because the same radio stations to tell you, if we have to start paying that, we will stop playing the songs.
But if they stop playing the songs, then the radio station will cease to exist, you know. Or
chicken and an egg. You know what I mean?
Which one came first?
Yeah, chicken and an egg, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It becomes an issue.
It's a tough one, you know. It's a really tough one. How do we change it? You know, I know it's so simple to say, you know, put the laws in place.
Yeah.
But you know the system very well.
Yeah.
You've gone through it. You know,
yeah.
Where do we start?
The laws are already in place. It's enforcing the laws that becomes the issue. You know what I mean? And it can only be enforced with a unified front, because there's no point in me and Teddy Abrokwa saying, you know what, if you don't play our music, if you don't pay us for our music, we're not gonna give you our music. And then two other guys came. If they don't want to give you their music, I will give you mine.
And I'm telling you for a fact that is what is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. So
there's been instances where artists are like, you know, for a show in particular, I won't name names, but these are big artists, you know. Two were like, no, we're not going to, if they're not paying us as they're paying the Nigerians that are coming in there to perform, then we're not going to do it. Then one went behind. They've all agreed, but then they saw him on stage and they're like,
"Why did you do that?" You know what I mean?
This is a major act, you know. Like, how are we going to win if we have this selfish attitude, you know?
And it's tough. It's always been very difficult, because you can't tell a hungry man to stay hungry in order to eat in the future, because they need the food now. You know what I mean? So it's more of a philosophical question than an actual.
Well, you're in the field. You know what you know exactly what the mechanics are like. But we'll get back to the publishing. But for an artist, maybe starting out now, what are the steps that they can do to safeguard them? You know, just without even having a lawyer, you know, representation. What is the best thing that they can do to protect themselves?
See, that's a very open question, because, and I don't say this because for self-preservation, by the way, but I think the first person an artist needs to see is a lawyer, for these reasons. First of all, just to give you an oversight of the industry that you're trying to get into. Secondly, they'd be able to point you to the right people that you need. For example, a manager. And if you're doing well and you're making some money, then an accountant. And thirdly, they're in the best position to kind of send your music out to these record labels. No disrespect to managers, because they do a lot of work, but a manager is always seen as biased. So if your manager sends your music to, let's say, Sony Music, for example, that's if you want to get signed. I'm not saying every artist want to get signed. They're seeing it as, yeah, of course you send us your music. Of course you say this guy is the best guy because you manage him. When a lawyer sends it, it's different, because as you know, a lawyer sees a lot of artists and is in the right position, or a very neutral position, to say, you know what, I think this song is good, or I think this artist is good, or from the projections I see, I think he's going somewhere or she's going somewhere. So look into that. You know, they take it more seriously. And not just that, also labels always know they will need lawyers in deals, so they'd always want to keep you happy. And by signing acts that you send to them, they know that actually cements it when they need a favor from you. So that's why I think you should see a lawyer first. But also, I did mention that there are not a lot of lawyers, and most of them will not have time for up and coming artists. You know, so if you do not have that option, I think the next best thing to do is obviously speak to an experienced manager. There are quite a few around, and I'm pretty sure they'll give you some time within the day.
Okay.
You know, or go to these courses that are run by some of these labels, you know, on whether it's on records, whether it's on publishing, whether it's on neighboring rights. You know, sit there and try to obviously network with the people that are there. Most people will be like-minded, as hungry as you, and you can take it from there. So
we're here with Kelvin, a renowned lawyer, as I call him.
Oh,
you know, because he was a lawyer before becoming a lawyer. You know, let's be clear about that.
I'm still studying, man.
What's it called? Personal development. I mean, you've got to keep up with things.
Yeah, apart from that, it's ongoing, but it's every day I meet new people. Every day I talk to new people, and I'm taking a lot from our conversation right now. So I don't know it all, but I can help in setting you on a path that will take you closer to your vision or your goals or whatever you have.
So you represent a lot of artists, producers, and what other fields?
Well, in terms of the genres.
Not genres per se. Oh yeah, well, you can call it genres. So artists, producers, and what else?
Record labels, management companies, publishing companies. Yeah, I represent them too.
Fantastic. So you know, you have a broader outlook on how the whole industry works. You know.
Yeah.
So at what point does an artist, say, for example, sign a publishing deal? Or maybe let's start with, what are the type of deals available for an artist or a producer or someone in this field?
I think the first one, obviously, is the most important one, is being independent. You know, owning your own masters, owning your own vision, your own goals, A&R in your own music, and being the man behind the steering wheel. You know what I mean? Being the driver. And the person that determines your future. And we have the second one, which is obviously to sign to a record label, and that comes with its pros and its cons as well. You know, a record label is not good for every artist, but I definitely know it's good for a lot of artists. You know, because there's some artists that come to me and it's sexy to say, yo, I'm independent, bro. I own my masters, bro. But you have no idea on how to market your songs, how to promote your songs, how to go about touring, how to go about even organizing your own life. So you as a person will know how organized you are and what assets you have that will help you move forward. You know what I mean? if you don't think you have the qualities of a person that can remain independent and be successful in this music industry, then brother, sister, sign. You know, when I say sign, I don't mean go sign a 6-album deal. You know what I mean? You can sign a 1 EP deal, 2 EPs deal, get the record label to build your brand, and then get out when you have a strong fan base to survive on your own. But if you're coming in the industry, good music, no fans, no management, no strong marketing and promo team, then it would take a long time for you to get to where a label would have got you to within a very short period. So you're actually doing your career a disservice by not signing. That doesn't mean every record label are going to be good enough to get you to the place you want to be. To be honest, there are a lot of record labels that I think are absolutely rubbish, you know what I mean, and may not be able to do it. But you know which ones have a track record in the type of music you do.
The roster, if you look at the roster.
Yeah, and you know which ones can do the job. You will know it yourself.
You from the, so we're here with Kelvin, renowned entertainment, a lawyer first, you know. You're from the era where CDs, you know, where the physical things had to be moving around, you know. Now it's digital. You also in a space where it's not like the traditional way where artists were developed by labels. Yeah. But you now have so many artists coming off the back of streaming, social media. Yeah. So labels don't have to put in that same effort that they used to. Yeah. In that sense, how different is it from?
Oh, very different.
From the old way of
very different
doing business.
So I always tell artists that are independent. For example, I'll take it back before I answer that question. Before they sign, they should try build something themselves. You know, go through a distribution company. You know, ask for a tier 2. You know, where they actually help.
What's a tier 2?
They help you with promotion and marketing and playlist pitching. You know what I mean? So it's going to get you somewhere, but because they take a very small percentage, they're not going to do the same job a label would. And sometimes these distribution companies are labels themselves. But if you go for the distribution option, they're going to give you 20% of what they would do for you if you were actually signed to them as an artist.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Which is understandable because that's how business works. Do that first, gain some sort of traction, some sort of fan base. And then when you're about to sign, you can use that as leverage. You know, when you have nothing, zero leverage, zero fans, you just make good music. And trust me, a lot of people make good music. You know what I mean? True. Sometimes in this market, at the top, at the early stages, it's good enough. They're good music, great. But at the top, everyone is making good music. So it's also, we also need a business leverage. So to say, oh, you have, and sometimes it comes down to things like 10,000 followers on Instagram. You know what I mean?
So the numbers always going to come in.
Gosh, the numbers count. Oh, your last song you released by yourself did 500,000 streams. That gives you leverage.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So 100%. Then when you come to me or any lawyer and we're negotiating your agreement, we are in the steering wheel. We can ask for things that you would otherwise be embarrassed to ask for if you didn't have those numbers behind you. You know what I mean? So your deal will look a lot better. Your deal can be a lot shorter as well because you've done quite an amount by yourself and we're using that as leverage. So they're buying into an already existing and good running business rather than starting a business for you. You know, so these are things we take into account when we're negotiating, at least on the commercial side. You know, when it comes to the legal side as well, that's a whole different conversation. But for the commercial terms, it helps if you have something that we can
build on.
Yeah, look back on and say, yeah, because of this, I'm not accepting this amount, or I'm not accepting you to hold his masters for this amount of years. It has to be a lot shorter.
So I'm sure you've seen Kanye West. In the news. I mean, that's gonna take a long time to go through the whole. I don't think in my life I've seen that many PDFs posted on Twitter. But this is Kanye, one of the if not, he's in the top tier of artists. The very 1% who are at the extreme end of success. If you look at what he's come out to say that basically he wants to rip his contract apart and
he wants to buy his masters. So I think that was the conversation.
So when artists are signing these deals, is it that it's bad but they just accept it, or when does a deal become bad for these people? I don't really get it, because nobody is forcing anyone to sign. And secondly, you're free to do so anyway. But why do you sign and then later on say, well, I've been dealt this. And then they produce the paperwork.
You signed it.
When does it go bad for artists? Is it just that maybe they ignore the signs? Or
The Soundboy Session with Teddy Abrokwa. Real vibes, real conversations. Visit the website, thesoundboysession.com. Follow on all socials at The Soundboy Session.